Hello students, today we are going to take unit number 17, economic problems and challenges, poverty and unemployment. Actually, the first question is what is poverty? What are the characteristics of the people living below poverty line? Actually, as we know that Indian economy is very complex because our social structure and our problem regarding population growth, price rise, black money, poverty, unemployment, starvation, corruption, terrorism, and so many problems we are facing which are affecting the economic problems. Among them, the most important is poverty. Now the question is, what actually the poverty? So here the definition is given that the condition in which people is unable to fulfill their basic needs like food, clothing, education, shelter and health service is called poverty. Actually, people are not able to suffice whatever the basic requirement. Like for example, we require the food for living. At the same time, clothing are also basic needs and education, and we require the shelter for our home or health services. If we are not able or any people is not able to get all these things, then he will be considered as a poor people. So poverty is a quantitative, qualitative concept where people have to decide minimum level of income and expenditure for existence is called poverty line. People earning less or spending less than that fall in the group of people living below poverty line. Generally, following features which can be considered as the people who are poor. First of all, the people who are not able to get adequate meal twice a day. When a group of people or a person who is not able to get food or meal or dinner or supper twice in a day, then he will be considered as a poor people. Second, lack of enough space to live in. Actually, such type of the people, when they are not able to get 2 times meal, how can they afford the house? Either kacha house or pakka house. Then they will have to live in slum areas, or they will have to live on either footpath or in the garden or in such type of the area. So these people will be considered as the poor people, and obviously their income will be too much less than the expected income. For example, if we require 5,000 or 10,000 income to live in for the month, but when the people are not able to reach this target, then they will be considered as they are living the below poverty line. Next, their lifespan remain less than the average lifespan of the nation, because such type of the people are not able to get as the food, obviously. That is why they will not get the enough nutrition, carbohydrate and everything. That is why their lifespan will be too much less. And second, they are not living in the hygienic environment. And so all this will affect on their lifespan, and such type of the people are generally illiterate, because the poor people can't afford the food. How can they afford the education? So they will be victim of the so many disease because of the lack of food, because of the lack of good house to live in, or we can say in other word, other facility which are the basic needs for the requirement to live, they will not have. Second one, in order to safeguard family income, the children of the such families are enforced to get involved in the child labor. When a person, poor person, is not able to enjoy the life, he will not get even the 2 times meal. What will happen? Their children have to do drudgery, they will have to work outside, and in this way they have to work, and that is why child labor automatically increased, and among them the child death rate remains high because of the malnutrition, because such type of the people, such type of the children are not getting nutritious food. That is why mortality rate among them is too much high. Hello student, in unit number 18, second topic is measurement of poverty. Now actually how can we measure the poverty? There are two ways of knowing the number of people living below poverty line. Actually first is on the basis of the expenditure behind various commodities or service by a family, and second one on the basis of total income of family. Family means here minimum 5 members. So here there are, we can say, two types of the poverty. Among them, first one is the absolute poverty. Absolute poverty means a real poor, the people who are not able to fulfill basic needs like fruits, vegetables, clothes, shelter. These people will be considered as absolute poor people, because these people are not able to suffice the basic requirement. So these people will be considered as the absolute poor, and their condition will be known as absolute poverty. Second one is the relative poverty. Now what is relative poverty? So relative poverty, here you can say there will be a comparison with one family to another. So here the condition in which one family bears less income compared to other families is called absolute family. For example, one person is earning 10,000 rupees per month and another person is earning 20,000 rupees per month. So here this guy is comparatively, relatively a poor people compared to this guy who is earning more than 20,000 rupees per month. So here relative poverty concept we can find in the developed countries like USA or some of the country of the Europe, Australia, etc. On the other hand, absolute poverty is the concept we will find in developing country like India and others. Hello students, another important topic is poverty in India. So here Indian Planning Commission has decided the following amount to decide poverty line. Actually Indian Planning Commission has decided this amount for the rural area as well as for the urban area, and that will be considered as the family for the 5 members. Generally in family they will consider is 5 members. In rural area per capita expenditure must be 816 rupees, which makes per family expense 4,080. 816 multiplied by 5 family members is equal to 4,080 rupees. On the other hand, in urban area, per capita expense has been considered as the 1,000 rupees, which makes family expense of the 5 family member 5,000 rupees, which is comparatively too much low, because nowadays generally only the expense of the milk is more than 1,500 rupees, and in addition so many requirement nowadays, so this amount is comparatively too much low. But according to that, this is the basic requirement. If any person is not getting all this, then they will be considered as poor people. They will be considered, or they will be put in poverty or below poverty line. In the year 2011 and 12, proportion of the poverty decreased to 27 crore. Out of the total population, 21.9% people remain poor people. So this is a good sign, because people's income may be possible increased. That is why 27 crore people, they are out of the poverty line of total population, that was approximately 21.9%. World Bank studied relative to the international standard and decided per capita daily income $1.9 in 2012 compared to 2008. It stands as the standard to decide the poverty, and as per it, 32.7 people live below poverty line, which altogether makes 45.6 crore people. So according to WHO, because they will definitely get, then they will be definitely decide the poverty ratio in dollar, obviously. And that is why according to them, if any person is not earning $1.9, then they will be considered as the poor people. And according to that, 45.6 crore people in India living below the poverty line. What a big number of the poor people in our country. Really, it is the dolorous condition, and that is not a good sign. And as per UNDP, United Nations Development Program report 2015, India had 21.92, means 26.93 crore people who are below the poverty line. These poor, out of which in rural sector 25.7%, which means 21.65 crore, and in urban area 13.7, which means 5.28 crore people living below poverty line. And among them, the Chhattisgarh stands with the maximum number of the poor people in India, approximately 36.93 crore people. Oh, it is very big number. And Goa ranks with the minimum poverty, 5.09, and Gujarat has 16.63% poverty. So now you will have to remember all these things, which is the poor state. Then you will have to give the answer Chhattisgarh, and which has the minimum or less poverty or less poor people. Then you will have to give the answer Goa. And in MCQ, if it might be asked regarding the Gujarat, then you will have to give answer 16.63 people. Here state like Chandigarh, Assam, Uttar Pradesh, Manipur, Bihar, Arunachal Pradesh, Jharkhand, all these have more than 30% poor